Hey, welcome. I just wanted to take a couple of moments and speak with Ben Ellingsen. Let's try that again. Hey, good morning, or not good morning. Hey, I'm so excited to be on this call with Ben Ellingsen this morning. Um, we're going to be talking about our upcoming Kingdom Wealth Summit, and which we're really looking forward to. This is our fourth year of running these 2-day summits. We run three of them a year on the Central Coast in Sydney, Australia, and we're really excited about each of them. But this one in particular is really setting up to be something special. We've got people coming, registering already from overseas. We've got people coming from Europe, all over Australia, and right across the body of Christ in Sydney as well. So I thought we'd take a couple of minutes today and just get to know Ben, who's going to be one of the keynote speakers and presenters at the 2-day summit. And so, Ben, thanks for taking the time this morning.
Thanks for having me, David. Yeah, I'm equally excited for the
Yeah.
summit as well. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a great mixture of our experiences. It's a great mixture of excellence, really learning the smarts, which are important. We don't ignore those. And then also the spiritual dynamic and the fusion of those together, God and wealth, God and business, God in the marketplace. I, I love that these summits are really aimed, it's not just one or the other, but a dynamic fusion between the two. And when we were thinking last year and prayerfully considering who would invite, your name came up, and yeah, we're really keen to see what's going to happen. So maybe for those that don't know you, Ben, maybe you could tell us a little bit about who you are and maybe a little bit about what you do at Kingdom Financial Group. I see the sign behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit what your world looks like.
Yeah, well, again, thanks so much for having me. And married, father of five, children range from 22 all the way down to little Zeph, who's almost four. Even outside of our business here, life is quite busy.
Right.
But been in business now with Kingdom Financial Group into our 17th year.
Wow.
I guess you'd call me an accountant by trade.
Okay.
But since getting that first qualification, I've added a few more, and so we operate in the accounting, the financial planning, and also
Okay.
the estate planning space.
Yeah.
Yeah, life's very busy for us. We've got a total of 20 staff across four offices, sort of throughout Southeast Queensland, and
Mm.
um, and every day is a blessing. Put it that way.
Yeah. That's great. That's
Mm.
great. Amazing. I mean, I'm curious. Um, I'm sure, having been in for so long, and you would have so many different clients come through your offices. Now, my understanding is you don't just exclusively do finances for Christians, right? Like it's both. But maybe if we can lean towards the Christian space, those Christian business people and
Yeah.
families that come to you, um, what would be a couple of things that you've picked up just in general? Uh, I want to probably go a bit negative here. Some mistakes, maybe, or some Christian prejudices that actually work against great financial
Yeah.
planning and financial. What would be just maybe one or two that it's never bad, ill intention, but
Ah,
just tend to get in the way. Maybe your perspectives.
yeah. Well, the one that comes to mind straight away, and it's something actually that I've been thinking about for a little bit, is I guess you'd call it a poverty mindset.
Okay.
That wealth for a Christian is a bad thing. And
Okay.
I can't afford to spend money on this particular initiative because of this mindset of I can't afford it, etc., etc.
Wow.
And when I think about the kingdom, I don't think about lack. I think about excess, and
Right.
Jesus
Mm.
obviously talked a lot about that, and about living an abundant life, not a life of poverty. And so it's one thing that does tend to pop up more often than I'd like to see. And
Yeah.
and part of, I guess, my role is trying to help people see a way where, God wants us to prosper, and
Right.
God, and not necessarily for our own benefit, but for the benefit of the kingdom at large. And so it's funny, you can probably see over my right shoulder that we've got a little
Yeah.
tagline that says helping you build yours. And obviously that's, I guess primarily geared towards the non-Christian, because
Sure.
Kingdom Financial Group doesn't really mean a lot to them. It means we pick up a lot of Christian clients who have said they just saw the name, and they wanted to reach out and see if we were Christian. And it's funny how they often sort of, they get a bit coy when they ask that question, are you
Right.
are you Christian, or whatever. And so that obviously then opens up a whole heap of a different conversation. But I think, to answer your question, that would be the most
Okay.
prevalent one that I see. And again, it's not deliberate. It's that mindset,
Yeah.
and part of the challenge of being a Christian is continuing renewing our mind, isn't it? And so
It is. It
that's
is.
just part of it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great reflection. I think, yeah, that thought of, as Christians, you would presume abundant God, we would have an abundance mindset. But I think there's probably some religious nuances that
Yeah.
hem us in a little bit. I have a Christian accountant and financial advisor, and it definitely makes it, I want to say, easier for me, because when we're sitting down and talking strategy, it's I don't have to, try and over explain the
Context.
kingdom,
Yep.
yeah, the
Yep.
kingdom generosity, all
Yep.
those spaces. So
Yep.
so it's amazing. Um, as a Christian in business yourself, someone, would you say that there was a maybe a marker point for you where maybe you went from being a Christian who runs a business to really maybe seeing that as more a calling and ministry, not just a profession? Is there a moment when that happened, or is it a slow burn? Or
No, it was the 4th of July 2018, which, to
okay,
be honest. And
okay,
and it was not just, a change in my life, from I guess a professional or a business perspective, but
yeah,
that was a real, I had a real encounter with the Lord. And my life was sort of very, very rocky at that particular point in time. And you look back on reflection, and God was doing a work obviously leading up to that point. But yeah, the Wednesday night well, the 4th of July 2018, of nighttime, is when again I had a real Holy Spirit encounter with the
wow,
Lord. and
yeah,
um and my life changed, literally my life changed forever from that point. And then that then obviously flows on into business,
yeah,
because it's such a big part of what I do and who I am. And so naturally, that those changes. And before that period of time, we weren't Kingdom Financial Group. We actually had a couple of different trading names. But just over, or just under a year later, in July 2019, after hearing from the Lord, it was a real sense of having to change the name, because
wow, wow,
my perspective changed from what it was to a real kingdom focus, and a real funding of the kingdom was the term that the Lord placed upon
wow.
me. You know what I mean? And that sort of
Mm.
had a few little iterations over the years. I initially thought that meant that I was going to help, fund big evangelist crusades. and
Right.
and I've got some very good friends who do that, and we do regularly support them, which is great. But
Yeah.
in more recent times, it's just been helping out fellow Christians with who have perhaps got themselves in a particular situation, or needing
Yep.
some funding. They may not be; they just maybe need some funding. And so that iteration of funding the kingdom has sort of taken on a few different applications, if you like. So.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Mm.
What's so interesting about that, Ben, is that over 17 years, I've traveled the world and been really fortunate to meet just some of the most outstanding Christian business people, Christian entrepreneurs, Christians in the marketplace. And anyone that I've met that is what I would say operating at a very significant level of either enterprise or influence or impact. I've never met someone who is doing that who doesn't have a moment, and like a moment that they can point to say, this was my trajectory, and almost had like the burning bush moment, the
Mm,
Moses, right, burning
mm.
bush moment that then changed everything internally in them, and now they're operate like, so it's almost, I don't know if it's a prerequisite, but I think those moments, the reason that they're so significant, it is the moment of almost, we all operate at a level of surrender, but it's almost like that there's a whole dimension of surrender that happens there that opens our eyes to the kingdom, to the king, in a way that somehow just wasn't available. Almost
Yeah.
we got born again.
Well, I
Uh,
was about to say that exactly, and sometimes when I say that to people, it messes up with their theology, and that's okay. But actually, that's the way I describe it is exactly right. I got born again, and
again, yeah,
which is
yeah.
fantastic. So yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing. Let me ask you. So again, we're really excited to have you coming down, being a part of our Kingdom Wealth Summit. What would be a couple of things? If people are thinking to click on, maybe register and be a part of it.
yeah.
What would be a couple of things that that you're hoping to bring? Don't want you to give it all away right
No,
now,
that's
but
good.
just to kind of, some areas that you go, look, I really want to press into this, or,
Yeah.
just so that they can have some sense of, or what's going to happen maybe in your sessions.
Yeah, as I sort of mentioned a bit earlier, we essentially operate in three, I guess you say, distinct but very much related areas of finance, and that's accounting and tax, financial
Yep.
planning, and estate planning. In fact, we sort of I coined the term, but in fact, I can remember having that download one day in the shower of the create, grow, protect,
Okay.
and the
Okay.
create is the accounting, the grow is the financial planning, and the protect is the estate planning. And so
Oh, I love that.
when we're dealing with our clients, and again in the summit, I really want to focus on that create, grow, protect, so that we've got that
Hmm.
genuine holistic advice. Sometimes I hear other professionals talk about holistic advice, and they might just be operating in one of those three places. But for
Okay.
us, we come at a client situations from those three angles, and
Love it.
so we're giving them the accounting and the tax advice and weaving that together with the financial planning and financial advice. And then one of the real big areas that we've focused on, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years, is protecting people's wealth.
Okay.
Because people work really, really hard to create and grow. But sometimes they leave that last little bit, the protect bit, a little bit exposed. And unfortunately, we live in an ever increasingly litigious environment. And
Yeah.
so whether you're in business or whether or not you're a professional, or if you're just growing your wealth,
Yep.
we're accumulating a lot. And you've probably heard of the term, the intergenerational wealth transfer, and the amount of
Yes.
money
Yes.
that's flowing and potentially flowing around. And we really try and make sure that if clients are going to work really hard and they're going to create and grow, that we put a lot of effort into making sure we can protect, and also how we can pass that on, that wealth,
Right.
to future generations, which I think is very much a biblical principle
Yeah.
of
Legacy, right? Legacy, and
legacy. Yeah, and,
yeah,
and doing that smartly, doing that in a tax effective way, and doing that in
love
a
it.
way that actually protects that wealth.
Yeah.
And so I guess I would sum it up and say that you're not just going to get accounting and tax advice, and you're not just going to get, some financial advice and financial planning, and you're not even just going to get estate planning advice, but we're going to weave all of that together under that sort of create, grow, protect
Love it.
banner we try to use.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be, thank you. It's going to be a great couple of days, as I know it always is. People are always raving about it. 27th and 28th of February. It's a Friday, Saturday on the Central Coast, down by the beach. Why wouldn't you come? We'll put some links, below with regards to this video that you can find out more. But Ben, we're really excited to see you. I think your wife's coming with you, right?
Yes. And
Yes.
our littlest boy, little
Oh,
Zephaniah, he'll be coming along as well. He's 3.5 going on
uh-huh.
15.
Right. So yeah, he's the mascot. He's the
He's
mascot.
very much well, he would consider himself the front man, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's great.
we're really looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun. We do have Philip McAvey from Poland. He's a property developer that's going to be coming, and I'll do a couple of sessions myself just in that whole kingdom space. It's going to be fun. I'm sure we'll learn a lot from each other. And I always say it's so interesting about who you meet in the room in these sort of spaces. It's one of the reasons why we've just resisted making this an online thing, even though we
Yeah,
could scale out. We've got a lot of stuff online. This is kind of, I know it inhibits as well, but like I said, we got people coming from Slovakia, from the Czech
wow,
Republic, Poland, which is nice. Great excuse to come to Australia. It's only
absolutely.
short. What is it? 16-hour plane ride. So
Mm.
it's going to be fun. All right. Look forward to seeing you, Ben, in February, and the rest of you. Hey, jump on. We have a limitation as far as we've got to cap attendance at a certain level because we put on lunch and just the room itself. We set it up with tables and chairs, so it really does feel like a working couple of days, an investing couple of days. It's not just a preach fest where you're going to hear some best messages, but we're really going to invite you to think deeply about the kingdom, about your finances, about, like I said, all the things that Ben you've mentioned. So thanks again,
All right.
and Ben, look forward to seeing you in February.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.